Good day, scholars. Today, we're going to be continuing to work on our I Have a Dream app that is about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And we're going to add some functionality to it. And we're going to add a little bit more information for the user if they want to learn a little bit more about these people. So first thing you're going to do is go to MIT App Inventor. Obviously, click on there. Go ahead and click on Create Apps and log in and get to your application. You should have all of this here, and you should have these two blocks of code after the second video you finish. First thing we're going to do is right now when the user clicks on these buttons, right, it starts them and it stops the other one. If you hit it again, it will pause it, but there's no way to reset it. So if you want to go and listen to the beginning of each speech, you have to wait for it to loop all the way around, which isn't necessarily the best thing. So what we're going to do is, we're going to add a button that allows them to reset their speeches so they can re-listen to them again from the beginning if they want to restart it. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to see if I can make my sizing is fixed and responsive. I'm going to change my sizing to responsive, all right, under my screen one components, sizing responsive. I'm going to make those sizes a little bit bigger, tablet size, so we can kind of see a little bit. Just for now, you'll change that back at the end, all right? Or else it won't look normal on the tablet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a button down here, all right? And I want the button to be spaced away a little bit, so I'm going to go to Layout, and I'm going to add just any of these arrangements. I want to add one between these buttons and that button, and I'm going to make that arrangement's height about 5%, and I'm going to hit OK. That way, it just pushes that button down a little bit. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the button a little bit larger. I'm gonna make the width of it 50% probably, so it takes up about half the screen across. And I'm gonna make the text say, reset speeches, so they know what the button does. I'm gonna bold this, I'm gonna make the font a little bit larger, the general things just to make it easy for them to see. So first off, I have that's finished. I'm gonna go ahead and set this back to phone to make sure it looks okay on my tablet that I have running. And we are looking, oh yeah, let me change the screen back to sizing fix. And right now that is not looking super good on the tablet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to this button and just follow along with what exactly I'm doing. I'm gonna go to this button and I'm going to make actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make this arrangement a little bit, the horizontal arrangement we added, a little bit smaller. I'm gonna do 2%. And that looks okay. I'm actually gonna make this image a little bit, what would be best here? Actually, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So I know it goes off screen here, but actually let's make everything a little bit smaller. We're gonna make the height of this a little bit less. So I'm gonna make the height of this, let's try 50 and see what that looks like. Okay, didn't really change much on my screen here. And I have a tablet running showing me what it's gonna look like. You do not have to have that. All right, so I changed the image height to 40%, and it will look pretty good on the tablet. One thing we gotta change is the button width. We need a little bit more space here. I'm gonna change the button width to, let's try 60. It looks okay here, but on the tablet, we're having some trouble here. 70. All right, that looks good. So far, everything I've just done looks pretty good on the tablet. I know this looks cut off. Don't worry about it. The tablet looks okay. That's one thing you have to get used to, is that the way this looks on the computer is a little bit different than the way it looks on the tablet here. So what we're gonna do next is we are going to add another button, all right? So we're gonna have to make some more space here. I'm going to add another button here. So in between the picture and this label, I'm gonna add a button. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put the button up here, in between the label here and the picture, okay? And I'm going to make that button say, learn more, right? That way, if they wanna learn more about these people, they can pretty easily find more information. I'll show you how to make that do what it's supposed to do. And because we added a button, we need a little bit more space. I'm going to actually,
One more piece, please come to the front office. One more piece. Please come to the front office.
I'm going to actually move some stuff around here a little bit. Let's make this arrangement, the horizontal arrangement 1 here. I'm gonna make the height of this. I'm gonna play around with it, so don't change it just yet. But I'm seeing what looks good on the tablet here. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna make the width of this, let's make that, I think we had 70 on the other one, didn't we? Yes, we did. We had 70 on the other one. So I'm gonna go, I'm gonna bold this. I'm gonna actually make the width of, or the height of this button a little bit less. Let's try 10. That made it more actually, didn't it? 5. And then I'm gonna make the font size of this less as well, so it'll fit on the button. Height maybe 6%. And again, I know this is looking weird. There we go. So it looks bad here. I know that. I know it looks bad here. But on the tablet that I'm working on, it looks pretty good. So we have the new setup for what we need. First off, let's do the coding for this button. Before I go to my blocks, I'm going to go to button 1, and I'm going to rename this the reset button. All right. So we know what it is, and we're going to make this button. We're going to have that named the learn button. Okay. So we know what they are. Some of you guys didn't rename your buttons, and then when you go to the coding, it's kind of difficult. So we're going to code this right here because we need to code this. We actually need to code this as well, but we'll do that in a second. So we're going to do the reset speeches one. So I go to my blocks here. I'm going to go to the left, and I'm going to go to the reset button. And when they click on the reset button, all I want to happen is for the players to stop. All right, it'll stop both of the players. So stop that one, and then the Malcolm player stop, and that will reset it to the beginning of the speech. So when they click on it again, it will start from the beginning. All right, so that's that one. The next thing we need to code is the other button. All right, and to code this, we want this to go to a different screen. We want it to get rid of everything and go to a new blank screen. So we're going to click on Learn More, and I'm going to add a screen, and I'm going to call it the Learn screen. Hit OK, and it's going to open a new screen. Don't worry about that yet. So this is the Learn screen. This is where we're going to put the information about these two men. We're going to go back to the screen 1 first, so we can code the Learn More button. So I have my Learn More button here. I'm going to go to my blocks, and I'm going to click on Learn button. And when the Learn button is clicked, I want to go to Control, and I want to open another screen name. And the screen name, we're going to grab the text here and this empty one here. The screen name is, right, if we look at it, it's Learn screen. And you have to make sure these are the capitals. If you put capitals in there, you have the capitals here. All right, so Learn screen. All right, so I did that. I'm going to test both of these. You do not have to test these yet if you don't want. I'm going to test these. So I'm going to start playing this this speech here.
I have a
dream. Okay, if I pause it and play it again, it starts from where we were. If I hit reset and I play it again, it starts from the beginning. So our reset button works. This is good. Our Learn button, I'm going to click on the Learn button on the tablet, and it got rid of all that, don't worry. That took us to the Learn screen. So if we go back here, we're on the Learn screen. So overall, our screen 1 is finished. We're good here. What we need to do next is we need to do the Learn screen, okay? I'm gonna make it look like the one we just kind of came from. So I'm going to go to the Learn screen here, Components. I'm gonna make the background color black so it looks like the other one. I'm then going to do I'm gonna add a label, okay? Add another label here, right? It's black. Change the text color to white so we can see it. Or, do what you want with it. Make it look different colors. Doesn't matter to me. And I'm going to go, who do you want to learn more about? All right? And I'm going to bold it, and I'm going to change the font size a little bit to make it look decent. 24 is a bit large for the tablet. 22, 20. Come on, 16. So 16 is pretty good. I'm going to go to the Learn screen here and set the align horizontal center. Okay. And actually this label here is actually a little too high up. It looks kind of weird on the tablet. All right. I'm going to push it down a little bit. And the way to push it down is I'm going to grab a layout. I'm going to slap it right there. Oopsie. All right. And I'm going to make the height of that 2%. Right. That way it just gives us a little space. This layout here is for organization. All right. There's nothing in it. So even though it looks gray, it will be invisible basically. You won't be able to see it. So it just pushes down the words a little bit. I'm going to grab another arrangement and I'm going to do the same thing here. 2%. Just to push it out anything here. Okay. Again, I'm going to grab a third arrangement. This one we're going to actually put some stuff in. I'm going to throw in a couple of buttons. All right. Button 1, button 2. This is going to be our MLK button. This is going to be our MX button for Malcolm X. And I'm going to put in Martin Luther King. All right, you know what? I'm just going to put text MLK. MLK. All right, I'm going to bold it. For this text, I'm going to put Malcolm X. I'm going to bold it. And we want these buttons to actually look pretty similar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the width of them. Let's try 30% each. With 30%. And that looks pretty good on the tablet screen, okay? Now, how are they gonna learn? We're gonna cheat a little bit. Usually in the app, you'll find your own information, put your information in there if you wanna teach somebody about something. I'm going to first grab another layout, just doesn't matter, whatever it is. And I'm going to make the height of that, 5% maybe, just to push down whatever we put here. And we're going to put in, you're gonna use your interface, we're gonna put in a web viewer, all right? And that's going to take the user to a website. So when they click on MLK, we want to take it to a website about Martin Luther King they can learn from. They click on Malcolm X, we want them to take them to a website where they can learn about Malcolm X, right? So the first thing is we want the web viewer to start off someplace, okay? I'm going to have this website start so they can read about the civil rights movement if they wish. So I went to Wikipedia and I searched for the civil rights movement. And I'm going to grab the URL up here. I'm going to double click and take the whole thing. I'm going to Control C to copy it. I'm going to go to my web viewer. I'm going to make the home URL that website. So when the user opens up this screen, that website will automatically be there for them to kind of read about if they wish. Then we need to code these buttons, okay? We want the Martin Luther King button to change the website viewer to a website about Martin Luther King. Same thing with Malcolm X. When they click on the Malcolm X button, we wanted to change the website to a website about Malcolm X, okay? And this is easier than you think. So we're gonna go to blocks. I'm gonna take my MLK button. When the Martin Luther King button is clicked, we want this web viewer to go to the URL, okay? And we're gonna make that URL be blank for now. And I'm gonna go to, I went to Wikipedia. You can use whatever website you want that makes sense for you. I want them to read about Martin Luther King a little bit because if they want to learn about Martin Luther King, it makes sense to kind of read a little bit about him. So I went to Martin Luther King Jr. on Wikipedia. Again, I'm going to click on the URL up here and I'm going to copy it with Control C, go back to here, plop it in, boom, Control V. Now there's that. So when they click on the MLK button, it'll change the website to them about the Wikipedia about Martin Luther King. All right. Now I'm going to show you a trick. We got to do the same thing for Malcolm X. Okay. I'm going to right click on this event handler here. I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to change MLK button to MX button. I'm going to get rid of this URL and I'm going to find a URL about Malcolm X. Again, in this case, I use Wikipedia. I'm going to copy the URL, Control C. I'm going to put it back in here, Control V. There we go. So now when the user clicks on Malcolm X, it'll take them to the article, Wikipedia article about Malcolm X, right? And you may think we're done, right? But if you look at our user interface, you got to think, okay, what could the user do next maybe, right? Are they done with the app? They could just close it. That's great. What if they want to go back and hear the speeches again? There's no way to get back to the other screen. So we're going to add another button. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen this time. And I'm going to rename it back button. And I'm going to put back so they know that that button takes them back, okay? I'm gonna make the width, 70 or so, just so it goes across. Bold it, make it look nice if you want, however, it doesn't matter to me. And we need to make this button, we need to code it, right? Because it's not gonna work unless we put the code in there. I'm gonna go to the blocks, back button, when the back button is clicked, Control, open another screen name. Let's get an empty text box here. And the screen we want it to go to is screen 1. So with a capital S, no spaces, screen 1. So now when they click the back button, it will go back to the main screen. So what we've done so far is we've added a learn more button. We changed around a lot of this stuff. Again, I know it doesn't look super good, but it looks okay on the tablet. We have a reset speeches button, and the learn more button takes them to screen. The second screen here we call learn screen, where they can learn about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X by reading about a website that you chose. So that's basically it. If you're finished, make sure you test it, right? Connect. You're going to AI Companion and then use the MIT AI2 Companion application to test the app and show me it works, and you should be good to go. So if you have any questions, obviously ask me, do what you need to do. But yeah, this is the application and you've made it. Congrats.